Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. I'm here with Susan with Tina. We're talking about a member's website today on 15-minute feedback. And here's the most interesting part of this. This is probably, if not the best website we've seen on 15-minute feedback. It's certainly right up there in the top few. Wouldn't you agree, Tina?
Completely. Yeah, even so much that I emailed the member and I said, what exactly is your question? Because your site is so perfect.
Right. And so this is a beautiful, well done website, a beautiful, well done product. And yet this member is completely baffled by her lack of sales. And I am sure that when of all the people watching and listening, I'm sure she's not the only one. So before we get started and we talk about the website, I would love to hear in the comments if you are a member of the Inner Circle or not. Yes, if you are, no, if you're not. We'd like to know who's showing up with us. It's really helpful. And if you have applied for 15-minute feedback or not, right, Tina?
Right. Hi, Veronica. So
Look
our
here.
lucky store owner is here. That's great.
This is Veronica, and it's her site that we are reviewing. And her burning question is really that she's lost, right, Tina? She doesn't know what to do next because she does have a beautiful website and she doesn't know where to turn to next for sales. And so we're going to share her site. We'll talk about what we see and what's possible for her next. Just looking. So Georgia's here. Hi, Georgia.
Yeah, we know you.
And online. So Natalie is here. You're not a member. Hi, Natalie. Welcome. Joanne is here. You are a member. Yes, you have a great business. I need to catch up with you. So listen, should I share the site?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So Jennifer has applied. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. So talk a little bit about Veronica while I'm doing that.
Yeah, sure. So Veronica is a surface pattern designer, an artist who puts her art on fabric and makes beautiful things from it. So cushions, tea towels, things like that. And we'll see when her site pops up. It's super colorful. And good news is she has a great pop-up and she's the face of her business. So she actually puts her face right there on the pop-up. So just one of the many things checked off that great job. You're doing excellent with your pop-up, clear messaging, and just, like everything's so cohesive and beautiful. So really everything you do is great on this side.
I think we first met Veronica when we did Ads Made Easy coaching week. And I remember looking at the products and thinking they were great. So I'm going to just get rid of the pop-up so that we can have a look at her site. And so great name, Republic of Happy, filling your world with color and joy. I'm going to talk about why I think that's a particularly great name in a little bit. But I just want you all to see this site is bright and beautiful and brilliant.
And just from the copy and the messaging, you know who it's for. She has a clear tagline, all the things that we've talked about in past episodes of 15-minute feedback. It's all there. And the photography, you have your story, you have your face on here multiple times. So we clearly know that this is something special from an artist.
Yeah. Call to action buttons throughout this page. She's got the tab for her pop-up. I mean, she really has been a good student of everything we teach. I got to say, congratulations, Veronica. Your site is amazing. But having said that, you'd feel a whole lot better if you were getting more sales, right?
Correct. So I think she's feeling stuck on the conversion side. So my first question for her was, how much traffic are you getting? And she did share that with us. And for the past couple months, she's kind of hovering around 1,000 web visitors a month. And if you're in the inner circle, you know that that would be issue number one is you don't have enough traffic to be worrying about conversion yet. And it's not just about the volume of traffic. So you want to start, your first goal would be 3,000 monthly web visitors, but also the right traffic. So Susan, if you can jump over to her Instagram real quick, this was one note that I had, which I think is really important for a lot of people to onboard.
Okay, so Tina, you didn't give me the heads up on that
Oh,
one.
so sorry. You should be able to find it in her footer, in the footer.
I'm just clicking it now. Let's see if it comes.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're going to stop sharing here. And StreamYard has the most awkward screen sharing ever.
Totally.
So we are going to share Veronica's Instagram page.
Yeah.
So got quite a few followers, right? For relatively new business.
She has a lot of followers, which is great. But the one thing that, and we don't have to go into specific posts, but you could if you wanted to. When I do this a lot on coaching calls too, is I look through what the engagement is and what the comments are. And sometimes people have a problem with bot traffic. Veronica doesn't have that. So she has a lot of comments and feedback that's very positive and wonderful. But what I saw over and over again was it seems to be from other artists and other makers and other designers. And so I think the issue is probably a lot of the traffic that you're bringing through social media and a lot of your followers on social are actually more your competitors than your customers. And even if we don't want to call them competitors, we could say your admirers, right? There are other people who appreciate what you do. They love your style, but they're also makers. And so they're not necessarily going to take out their credit card and buy what you're selling. So
right. They're admirers.
They're right. So they're your community. So I think it's really important that you think about what your messaging is on social, what your hashtags are, where you're running your giveaway, how you're promoting it, that you're actually attracting a buyer instead of other people who are like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. She's a great artist, but I'm an artist too. I'm going to go do that myself.
Or I just want to support her. I
want to support her. Exactly.
Curtis. So Sarah, we were talking about you just before we went live, and we're actually going to mention you through this presentation. So Bonnie Christine is a friend of mine, and she teaches surface pattern design. She's amazing and super smart. And it sounds like Veronica is a member of Bonnie's program, and it shows. Like everything you do is beautiful, Veronica. But I think the thing is the real question here is, okay, how do you get beyond those people that are there for your support, that are your community of artists? How do you get beyond that? And Tina, what would you suggest to someone like Veronica about getting beyond those people?
Yeah, I mean, you're doing multiple giveaways, which is great. So I think giveaways is a good people to get new fresh eyes on your site and on your list. But the other way I would do that is through collaboration. So just like we teach in the lessons in the classroom, collaborate with somebody else who has a bold, colorful product line. Maybe they do jewelry, maybe they do other home good kind of things, but someone who has a list of buyers. And so maybe your admirers would also be interested in their products because it's far enough away from whatever they're already following and interested in. So I'd say collaboration is probably the easiest way to get that going. And then also ads, because if you've done Ads Made Easy, I would really go through Kathy's training and look at how you can find an audience of buyers. So again, be really careful about what targets you choose, that you're not attracting other artists.
Yeah. And so I think you're right about the collaborations. I think there are, and I want to just say a few words about collaboration to everyone who's here. Collaboration is really my one thing this year that I want to facilitate more collaborations. I want to break down the barriers to doing a collaboration with someone else, because there are a lot of, everyone starts out with the great intentions, but there are things that get in your way. And so what I want to share with you, Veronica, and for everyone that's listening, we're working on a solution that should launch in the summer. But what I want to share with you is, when you think about collaborating, so often I see people thinking about similar products. I want to sell or I want to collaborate with someone who has similar products. Like I even say Bridget, which is, you're not wrong, Bridget. The hammock gal would be great to collab with, although I think she's in the US and Veronica's in the UK. But what you're really looking for is similar audiences,
Right.
characteristics of that audience. Veronica, you could collaborate with a jewelry maker. Like, what we're looking for is, who is your buyer? Someone who appreciates art, who likes bold, bright colors, who has maybe an interest, a side interest in home decor. But that doesn't define who they are. And so I want everyone who's here to onboard that it's really important to think about audiences, not necessarily products.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
and so step 2 is get beyond all your sweet friends from Bonnie's group, and you have to work on some collaborations and some ads to cold audiences to build your audience. I think that is important. Now, let's talk about the next thing. Should we talk about that? Okay. So I'm going to give you some advice here that I want you to onboard and think about how you can do this and make this your own. I'm actually going to stop sharing. Here we go. So Veronica, you're an artist before anything else, right? You are an artist, you're a surface pattern designer, and you put your patterns on things. And so when you are the artist in your business, so everyone who is a maker or an artist, I want you to onboard this. When you are the artist, you are actually the product. You're the product in this business, and you've done a great job of putting your face on, on your social media, on your website. You do some videos, so you are like 75% of the way there. But I want you to flip your thinking about your how you're going to sell your products, because what you've done, what I see in this beautiful website with these beautiful products, is you've put yourself in a box by only putting your art on a few specific products. Like, you have tea towels, you have oven mitts, you have aprons, you have toss cushions, and you've actually done, this is a mistake we all make. I made this mistake with my shoe business. You've decided, you've just gone out there and married yourself to, well, this is the XYZ collection, and this is the ABC collection. And, these are collections, and these things all go together in this collection, and this is what I'm selling. And so even though you're the artist and you're the product to your audience, what you're presenting is, I sell housewares with great designs, and they're way more expensive than what I would find at like Target, or, they're more like a Pottery Barn price. And I know you're in the UK, so this is all not relatable, but but that's what you're trying to sell. And so you're really boxed in. Like, somebody might love the pattern, but they don't want it on a pillow, right? They don't want that. Doesn't go with where they have to have a place to put that. And the other thing is, like, they might love the pattern, but they know that they wreck tea towels every month and they're throwing them out. And so I want you to think about this. And what I think you need to do is, you need to find a way to, first of all, diversify what's available to your audience, because you're the artist. You've got some beautiful patterns. And so let's diversify what they could buy at that. And I see it on your Instagram that you have gift wrap in one of your patterns. So what about offering cards and wrap? Can you do that in a way that doesn't like suck the life out of you with too much inventory? What about prints that would make a gallery wall of all those crazy patterns together that would be great in a kid's room or in a fun TV room or something like that? What about fabric by the yard? for a crafter or a sewist or somebody. And you could certainly, then that opens the door for a lot of great collaborations for you. Or what about even fat quarters for quilters? Because your patterns look like they'd be easily adapted to quilting. Or, what about those things? Those are the things that I would think about. And many of those things you can do in a way where you don't have to hold inventory, right, Tina?
Correct. Yeah. And look at this. We've already got Darcy saying they could do a greeting card collab. Rhonda wants fabric for her dog bandanas. So there's demand there for it. And again, this way you're the product. Let other people figure out how to make it into something that they love or that there's an audience for.
Because the pattern is what's attracting them. And so by just sticking the pattern on some few things, now they've got two decisions to make. Well, I love the pattern, but I don't think that I don't need that pillow, but I love that pattern. And so, like for me in my house, I really stick to neutrals, and the only color I bring in is usually art. Right. And so think about how people are going to consume your products and leave yourself lots of open space. The other thing I think it allows you to do when you do this is it allows you to have some newness. Because I asked you, do you drop ship? I saw it in the comments. Do you drop ship or do you have inventory? And you said, oh, I'm too much of a control freak to drop ship. I hold inventory. And so I'm going to share with you that that's another way you've put yourself in a box, because now you've made the product the most important thing rather than the art. I know stock does cost money, but I think there are ways that you can do this on a drop ship, like a print on demand basis, right, Tina?
Yeah, and we talked about also, just from the licensing side, and I'm sure this is covered in Bonnie's program too. There's places like Spoonflower where you don't actually carry stock. You just upload your artwork and tell people, hey, you can buy my fabric now on Spoonflower, and it's print on demand, beautiful quality, and it opens you up to a whole new audience of people who are actually looking for that print on fabric. Right. And then same thing with cards and things. There's plenty, I know in the US, there's plenty of places and printers that will let you do print on demand for paper products as well. So I think that's something worth exploring.
Absolutely. And of course, you're in the UK, but I suspect that there are places in the UK to do this too.
Yeah, and I think if you ask in the group, I think Camila Prada, for example, has researched that heavily, and she's very, I would say also very picky about the quality of her colors and prints and art. So she would be a good person to connect with about what print on demand is good for the UK.
Yep. People are talking about Printful, so I'm not sure if Printful is available in the UK, but I suspect it might be. And so I want you to think about that. The other good thing about that is those are a little bit more affordable, right? Yeah. They're not as much of there's not a lot of decisions. Yeah. Let's be honest. There's not a lot of decisions to make when it's gift wrap and cards, or when it's some prints that are quite affordable. It really rules out a lot of the decision-making process. So I want you to think about that. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to listen to a couple of podcast episodes. So if you go to the Roadmap to 50K on Shopify podcast, I want you to listen to episode 5 with Camila Prada. And so she's an artist, and I think it'll give you some perspective. And the other episode I wanted you to listen to was episode 80 with our friend Sarah Curtis, who is here today. Because I think Sarah's done a great job of diversifying, like being the artist in her business and diversifying her sales channels so that she can earn an income, do the work she loves, and doesn't have to sit with a lot of inventory.
Yeah. And that goes back to, Susan, you had mentioned earlier that the name of the business is great because of the flexibility. So if you want to explain that a little bit more, that'd be great too.
Yeah. So often we put ourselves in a box with our name of our business. And so that's really good if you like people, it's great for people to know what you do when they see your name. But But for you as an artist, you've already got a perfect name for your business. You might just, instead of the tagline, I think you've got, let me just go back and I'll have a quick look. So you've got filling your world with color and joy. So you might just say something instead. You might say something about by Veronica, right?
Yeah,
Let's
totally.
do that. Yeah. I'll just pull it up. Any last words, Tina?
No, I think, again, sometimes it's just about, I'll say this, I think a lot of times we're too close to it, and it's very common to think the website is the problem when it's actually something else. And sometimes it's traffic, sometimes it's, like in this case, it's a little bit of the business model that just needs some tweaking. So, that's where getting that outside perspective is really helpful.
Absolutely. So let's just recap your action steps. So action step number 1 is you do need to focus on traffic. So your store is relatively new. Your conversion rate is way below 1%. That's actually very common for a new store. And so even though you're not getting the number of orders you want, you're also not feeding your website with enough traffic to get more orders. And so I don't want you to think there's something wrong with your site. Job 1 is you do need more traffic. The second thing is that how do you make a plan to actively seek out ways to go beyond your friend's audience? That is one beautiful Instagram feed. People will love that. But right now, there's no eyeballs on it, especially no buyer eyeballs on it. So make a plan that maybe once a month you collaborate with someone, and maybe you do a giveaway once a month. And those are your events for the month. And you start building a list of people that will be your future buyers. And when you're doing that, you're going to position yourself as the artist, right? And you talk about people who are purchasing from you as collectors, so that you establish yourself as the artist. So that's job 2. Job 3 is to actively seek out ways to get your prints on products that don't involve you buying inventory, but allow you to come up with some newness and things that you can launch over and over again. And it can be as simple as the gift wrap and the cards. It could be prints, like, a gallery wall of prints that you could do. There are all sorts of things that you can do, I believe, without having to add inventory. And then Sarah's got some. She would consider wholesale if you want to diversify less and manufacture more of the products on your own. So there you go. I suspect, because it's small runs, I suspect your cost of manufacturing is quite high. That's my guess.
So you probably don't have the margin to wholesale right now. But moving forward, again, like moving into other products, you could easily wholesale paper products. So that would probably be something you can start with that business model from the beginning.
So Pam would love gift wrap. So call her up. And you've got a great video on Instagram of you gift wrapping, like wrapping a gift at an in-person market. And I'd be like, oh yeah, like I am that person who comes screaming into my gift wrap supplies, looking for something that, doesn't look like it's lived in my basement for 5 years, or some beat up old bag. There was a place, get yourself a stash, like fat quarters of gift wrap, that you could have some lovely gift wrap, at least for your friends. Who cares about the people who are just going to tear it off? But you know how people do appreciate a nice gift. So that's all I've got. Veronica, thank you so much for exposing yourself here. It was a real pleasure to see your site, and it's a real pleasure to have you in the inner circle. We are cheering for you for sure. Right, Tina?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You'll report back, right, Veronica? Let us know. Keep us up to date on your progress, because we want to support you all the way to the sales that you want all the time.
Yeah,
so Tina,
definitely. Good.
Great
all
weekend.
Right. Happy Friday, everyone.
See you all soon. Bye, guys.